Hello, this is Katie, and I finally got the Cottage Greetings card kit in the mail. I placed an order from a friend's just meetup for cards, and this was on back order, so it finally came. But I already had gotten the stamp set that's used in it as well, so I have the wood block stamp set for Cottage Greetings, and then the kit came yesterday, I believe. So I figured I would take a look through this. It was really cute when I looked at it, and I got to look through an actual set at the meetup. And so yeah, so I wanted it, and it was really cute. So we'll take a look at what's inside. Everything's kind of sealed together, so we can open that up. I want to make sure I don't ruin anything with my scissors. All right. So I think on the front, I'll get the paper from the front. It tells you what it comes with. If I can get this off. Okay. So I guess maybe it doesn't tell you what it comes with, but, oh, let's see. Oh, okay, so printed card bases, die cut accents, foil accents, envelopes and foil liners, baker's twine, Stampin' Dimensionals, wood sheets, self-adhesive enamel dots, and sequins. And then I guess they're basic instructions for each of the cards. So I think we will, let me take a look through some of these and I'll see which one I want to make. I think these cards aren't pre-stamped, but they're like this is on there. I don't know if it's colored in or if it's empty, so we'll take a look at that. I have the enamel dots, the sequins, and the baker's twine in there. And then all of the wood sheets, it looks like there's a wood sheet on each one. There's some bigger ones and some smaller ones. And I think the smaller ones are for maybe these two cards, and the bigger ones, this one looks a little bit bigger overall. So I'll set those aside. These are the envelopes with the inserts. So you can have a pretty inside of an envelope. And then the dimensionals I'll set aside. And then you've got card bases. So we got, I think, 2, 3, 4, 5 of each card. So there's the green one. That one's really nice with the silver. And then the yellow with the silver on it as well. So that's kind of shiny. So it does look like these are colored in. So it's going to be pretty easy. How about we start with one and see if we want to make more. Let's start with, we'll start with the happy birthday one, the green one. So it looks like it's a green card base, one of the smaller wood panels, one of these for behind the happy birthday card. I have the happy birthday stamp right here, and then the twine. So hopefully I can do this without messing it up like I did on the, I don't know. There was a paper pumpkin kit, the Hayman one for the Father's Day, and I don't know. I just messed up the twine and everything that went with it, so it was annoying. But we should be okay. This one seems pretty simple, so I'll get one of those out. I will get a, let's do the smaller wood panel. And then this one is the happy birthday. So they come up pretty easily. You don't end up with ridges or anything like that when you punch it out, which is really nice. So that's going to go on that. And we'll stamp it first, or stamp the happy birthday first to make sure it works out. And then we'll get a green card base. Okay, so we'll go ahead and fold the card base, and it was already scored for you, so you just kind of flatten it with your bone folder. And then It looks like Stamp in Delightful Dijon ink, which I don't have, but I do have the Calypso Coral just because I really liked the color, so I actually ordered that with this same order, just because I love coral, and so it's just kind of a one-off ink purchase. And I've already mounted these because I do that immediately every time I get a wooden stamp set from Stampin' Up. So I'll set those aside. And then we'll ink this up and stamp the happy birthday. Should be pretty straight. Just want to make sure it's clean, not drop it everywhere. And these ink pads, the new ones, are very inky. So I just need to be pretty careful. I don't know why they are so inky, but we'll try and stamp this straight. Not too bad. So we've got that. Clean that stamp later. I'll close this up because we won't be needing this. And then I want to stick this down to this, so I will get my, blow on that a little bit more. My tape runner. Try and meet the curve a little bit. Okay, and it looks like in the picture it meets it all the way up at the top, so you're not centering it on the silver. You'll line it up at the top so it's got a border on the sides and the bottom. So I'll go to, sometimes it's easier to do this sideways as well, so you can kind of see what you're doing. The metal or the silver is just so slippery. Okay, so that should be good. All right, so we've got that piece done. Then it looks like we're just wrapping some twine, which is where I usually mess up. I don't know. Just it's probably because I get such a little amount of it, or I think it's not really gonna go far or last the whole card kit. I don't know. I just freak out and use it wrong and then I mess up or something like that. But I think I have some gray and white twine, so if this doesn't go well, then that's fine. So let's see. It says, that one's not enamel dots. 4. Small wood sheet. So it looks like they have one set of instructions, 1 through 9, and then the numbers over here tell you which instructions kind of correlate with each card because they have a lot of similar instructions. So this one has 1, 4, 7, 8, and 9, which would be Stamp in Delightful Dijon. 4 is use small wood sheet. 7 is pop up with Stampin' Dimensionals, which is the wood sheet. 8, cut 1 yard, tie 3 times around wood sheet and label. So I actually have yardsticks holding up my phone camera so I can stretch a whole yard. That will make this a lot easier. And then 9, adhere using snail adhesive, which is just my tape runner. Snail adhesive is the Stampin' Up tape runners, the little ones. So the only thing is that I feel like these might not be in order. You should probably do 8 and tie the string around it before you pop it up, which is number 7. And that's probably where I would think I was following the directions and then do that and then not be able to tie the string around it because I already stuck it down, that kind of thing. So you want to be careful about how these are actually labeled in order. I mean, it could be 7 and 9, 8. Maybe it wants you to go in order from top to bottom, which says 4, 8, 1, 7, and 9. So who knows? But use logic. Don't stick it down before you get a chance to wrap the string around it, obviously. So I'm going to measure a yard since I have a yardstick in front of me. And then, let's see, yard is not as long as I thought it was. Okay, so we'll cut that right there. And set the rest aside. Okay, so I do want to stick this down to this first. And I think I want the grain going kind of up and down, so I'll stick it that way. So we'll put some tape runner on the back of this one. And then that looks like that goes up with the top. So I just want to make sure I have an even width on both sides of it so it's centered. And then we want to wrap this around. And you can on the back, if you want to give yourself some sticky, I know this is going to be raised up, but to kind of hold your string in place, you just want to leave yourself enough on this side to tie that bow over on that edge, and that should be plenty. So then we leave this here and kind of wrap this around. Oh, well, we want to go above the happy birthday, don't we? That's probably better. So again, leave some over there, stick that down. There we go. And then don't cover your words with it. I probably could have stamped that a little lower, to be honest, but oh well. So then we want to tie something that's enough for me. And I can use the sticky on the back to kind of stick it to my craft sheet a little bit while I tie it. Or I usually just take something heavy, like a punch, and set it on there so I can tie the string. And another trick with a pair of tweezers, if I can find them, here they are, you can tie your kind of your pre-knot and then hold that with a pair of tweezers while you tie your bow. Then you can just pull the tweezers out, but that way it'll hold that in place or they'll fall out. So then you just make that a little bit smaller and then you can cut that off wherever you want. So you try and hold it down and pull it taut so it makes it a little bit easier to cut off those little bits. So then we've got our little bow off to the right. So in the picture it looks like the happy birthday was probably stamped a little lower so the ribbon could be lower, but that's okay. So then you want however you want the card to open, it doesn't matter. It looks like this is a square, so it could go this way or up. I think I'll do a top opening. Then we want to use the Stampin' Up dimensionals that came with it and raise that up. I get kind of dimensional happy or foam tape happy. I use a lot of them, so I don't know how many are here for the entire card set, but I should have enough. Plus I have my own foam tape as well. Let's push this guy down so I can put one in the corner and maybe one up at the top. And you want to try not to put it on top of the string or it'll be even higher than all the others and it might look a little uneven. Right, so we want to pick those off. My nail polish is coming off on some of the foam tape. Oops. Okay. All right. So then, looks like it's just centered on the card. Sometimes I stand up so I can really see that it's in the middle of the card. Just gives a better view. All right, so there you go. Not too bad for that card. And let's see. I think we can do one more fairly quickly. So I'll take a look at, I think maybe this one right here, the center one. So the one with the scalloped silver card. And if you've ever done the envelope inserts, I don't think I want to attempt that on camera. I might have to look at how to do it. I don't think it really matters, but I guess I imagine having to put adhesive on the back of the silver, the whole back, and trying to slide it into an envelope while it's sticky doesn't really make sense to me. But what I think you do is you just put adhesive on the back of the upper portion, slide it in, and then stick it down, and it's not really going to go anywhere or crumple up in the envelope or move. So I think that's probably how you do it. I just don't want to try and do that on camera right now. So we'll do this card, and I think I'll save that one for, maybe I'll do it in another video. We'll see. So this one is another small thing, small wood piece. And then one of the pieces like this. Excuse me. And then this piece, again, it comes out really easily. Probably just paper cut myself. Of course I did. That's fun. Okay. They're sharp as well, apparently. And it looks like this green piece goes with it as well for the thanks and some of the embellishments. So then we want our card base. All right. So I will fold on the score line. Put that down. And then it looks like this is just getting stuck down to this, just centered. It's not lining up with any of the edges or anything. So I'll go ahead and do that part. Okay, so we want to center that. Got that piece done, and then this piece. So then this is the thanks will go like this. So I'm gonna grab that stamp. Thanks. Congrats. That's not thanks. Okay. These are really cute. I would have wanted this stamp set regardless, whether or not I got the kit. It just seems to go with it. I mean, obviously they're made for each other, but they're just very cute, scripty, swirly. Just fairly original. It's hard to find original fonts anymore, or a company that doesn't really stick with one font, if that makes sense. I like when they branch out a little bit. So we'll stamp. Looks like that might be in black, actually. So let's do not coral. And I will actually use, I think I'll use Memento Tuxedo Black, because it's not I've been using a lot of inks, so I may have lost my Memento in the process. Here we go. It's not like a full image or anything, so I don't have to worry about the Memento ink not really filling in because it's an alcohol ink. It dries a little quicker. The Versamark just takes so long to dry, and I think this will be plenty. So I'm just going to make sure it's stamped. I don't want to mess that up. And it's not as, you know, totally pigmented as the Versamark, but it looks fine to me. You can decide if you want to use a more pigmented black ink. I just don't like fussing with the drying, and I usually end up smearing it, even if I try really, really carefully not to touch it. Somehow I still smear it without touching it, so that's just me. Okay, so these set of instructions, we'll take a look at what they tell you to do, and maybe in this order. So 4 is use small wood sheet, which we got. 9, adhere using snail adhesive, so this piece to this piece, so we already did that. 7 is pop up with Stampin' Dimensionals, which is the wood piece, which we could probably do now. 2, stamp in basic gray ink. I guess that's gray, it looks pretty black to me. And then 6, adhere with multi-purpose glue, all of these embellishments. And then the little enamel dots have their own sticky, so that's just talking about the sequins. So, I'm sure we can do this part here. So we'll stick this down. Just want to make sure I get all these scalloped edges. So we'll stick this down. It looks like it's about there. And then we want to stick this down, and we'll put the embellishments on after. So this goes to the edge, and it looks like maybe a little bit over the edge. I don't know, little tiny overlap is fine. And then we can raise this up, and then we'll get to our little embellishments here. So I'll take these out. Everything is in a bag, in a bag. They don't want you to lose anything. It looks like some of these enamel dots may have come free or loose. So it looks like this one just has 2 of the little brown ones, but they seem to not be sticking to their sheets very well. So you want to keep an eye on those. They're kind of scooted around the page. So let's see. One of the ones stuck to the bag is brown. I wonder if it's still got sticky on it. I'm going to go ahead and stick that one down before I lose it. We'll just put it over there. And I'll do the second one, which is kind of in this corner. Okay, so let me get these enamel dots put away before I lose any of them. So they seem pretty small, and maybe the adhesive isn't so strong, and that's why they're scooting around, but they aren't missing as long as you keep them contained. We'll do the sequins in a second after we get the dimensionals on the back here. Oops. That's not quite to the edge. Get one there, get one in the middle. That should be enough. Okay. And if I ever get stuff over the edge, you can't really see it. I just tend to cut a little piece of the foam off at an angle just to be sure you can't see it. But I'm sure it would have been fine. Oops. This guy. Sometimes it's hard to tell which ones I've peeled off already, so I have to touch them all. Okay, so I think I'll do another top opening card just because I like them. And then I will center this on the card. I probably would have used maybe more Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. You can see where it sags a little bit. Especially if anybody were to send it through the mail, or anybody were to set it under something. I actually bought fun foam in a multicolor pack, which was cheaper. This is what it looks like. I probably could have used it on the entire back of that if I had cut it to the same size, but it's basically just kids fun foam stuff. But this is what Jennifer McGuire uses, and I figured the color doesn't matter because you can't really see it through the card, I hope. You would cut it to the same size so that you have an entire support system under that. So I could try that for one of the other 5 or 4, I suppose, because each card has 5. So maybe I'll try that on another one. So then it looks like, oh, I guess there's a couple of these white enamel dots, or they're kind of ivory cream. So I'll put one, oops, there we go. They're both on my finger. Put one here, it looks like. And then over here. Then we have a big sequin and a little sequin, and I think I'll just use my Tombow Mono multi-glue. If I can get it out, there we go. Come on. Come on. Okay. I'm just going to follow the picture, so it looks like the big one is here. Oops, I didn't want to hold down. So try and stick that one down. Just let that dry. You don't want to touch it, or else it will probably not work out very well. Then we have a little sequin right about here. Sometimes these are hard to get to stay down so they can dry. Better you can just use a little more glue. I think that one needs a little more glue. Okay. Maybe this will work out a little better. Okay. All right. So I'll just let that one dry, but that's that card for you. And like I said, there's 5 of each. It's a pretty good deal. I cannot remember how much it costs. The item number, if you wanted to look it up, looks like it is 138377. I want to say it wasn't any more than 20 something, which is pretty good for 15 cards and all of the envelopes and silver inserts that come with it. So those are those 2, and then the third one is that congrats card that I didn't make, so we made one of each of those. But yeah, it's a pretty cool kit. It's very easy to work with, and like I said, you probably just follow the instructions. I think it's meant to go in order, not excuse me, not number order, but in the order they're listed. So 48179, 49726, or 651379. So, but they're very similar instructions for each one, and that's probably why they combined it. So that should work out pretty smoothly, and I hope that helped you out a little bit. And yeah, I definitely recommend it, especially if you don't have a lot of card making stuff. You'd probably want to get the stamp set just because it is so cute, but you could use any other sentiments that you have, I'm sure, as long as they fit. But yeah, so anyway, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.